This video was a Patreon request from Silvershot AMV. Welcome back to the many toys of, the show in which we go over the action figure history of various Transformers characters. And this time around, I want to talk about Galvatron's ninja consultant, Sixshot. Before we begin, a big thank you to the Side Railstraw 9319, Blackout Studios, Caractel, Saurus 7183, and an especially big thank you to the Erasers 4873 who has been asking for Sixshot for months. And of course, another colossal thank you to my producer, Silvershot AMV. Hey guys, this is Ron the Editing Bay. I just need to point this out. 6 people requested Sixshot. Exactly 6 people requested Sixshot. I think we need to end the show after this. We can't get this perfect again. Sixshot is a fascinating character to talk about as long as you're in Japan. Here in the States, he only appeared in the final episode of the G1 cartoon for 30 seconds, just long enough for kids to know that there was a new toy hitting the market. Even though he had a great toy commercial, there just wasn't much to him. It took until IDW for him to get any type of meaningful screen time, and even there, he was more just a generic doomsday machine, like a second-rate overlord. However, in Japanese markets, Sixshot was Galvatron's right-hand man, a fearsome mercenary that could go head-to-head with Ultra Magnus and come out on top. In fact, he could do a lot more than come out on top. He murdered the city commander. And even though Sixshot could have been written as just another thug for the Decepticons, he was a ninja consultant, a professional, someone with standards, and more importantly, someone with a sense of honor. He refused to compromise his code, and in the end, he abandoned the Decepticons after Galvatron attempted to destroy the entire universe by taking Unicron's energy. After that, he would become Greatshot, an Autobot mercenary who was firmly on the side of good, and his son, Quickswitch, would follow in his footsteps. It's really interesting to see the level of depth that the animes were willing to give him back in the 80s, and meanwhile in the States, Sixshot is just the gimmick. 6 forms. The original Sixshot toy was released in 1987. Standing taller than most of the G1 line, it's hard to argue that Sixshot was one of the most impressive figures of the entire range. And that's before we even get into the fact that this massive robot had 6 modes. Of course, his robot mode, alongside a tank, a starfighter, a pistol, an armed carrier, and a quote-unquote wolf creature, which is just a wolf. And if you were willing to go with the Headmaster's cartoon, there was a 7th mode of the winged wolf. I don't count that, but even still, Sixshot had 6 solid modes, and even though some are stronger than others, it's hard to argue that you were getting quality here. He was one of the most engaging transformations of the entire G1 line, and his color scheme, albeit simple, made for a dashing-looking robot. In Japanese markets, you'd also be able to get the Transformers Caramel Sixshot. Funnily enough, even though the proper Sixshot toy wouldn't be released in Japan until the year after, in 1987 you could get the Transformers Gum snapped together model kit of Sixshot. In 1988, Sixshot would appear in the Super God Master Force toy line in Japan. Going into 1989, it was time for a change. To reflect Sixshot's change into Greatshot, you would have the Greatshot toy released in Fight Super Robot Lifeform Transformers Victory. Sixshot wouldn't make any type of appearance in the Beast era. It took until 2001 for him to make his return in the Super Collection line in Japan. You could either get him in his anime colors or as a purely translucent Sixshot. Funnily enough, 2002 would be the year to give us the most Sixshots ever with a whopping 3, including the first reissue of the G1 figure. Using that reissued mold, you could also get 2 versions of a Lucky Draw Sixshot. Sixshot Stealth Mode, that would be him entirely in black, or Sixshot Shadow Mode, that was him entirely in translucent plastic. Why don't we pump the brakes right here? Believe it or not, we've already gone through half of Sixshot's official toys. So why don't we pop over to third party? Because even though he's not had much love in the official media, his place in the fandom is without question, meaning that a whole lot of companies want to take a stab at this guy. The first third-party six-shot that I remember was the Mastermind Creations six-shot, and I still think this toy is just incredible. He is very IDW flavored, but at a liter size, with amazing sculpting and painting, very good quality control, solid plastic, and 6 distinct modes that were all just perfect, this might still be my personal favorite six-shot. He's the most angular, he had the most accessories, and at the time, he was the six-shot I wanted the most. And he still kind of is. G Creations put out Fuma a few years later. Fuma is also somewhat more IDW flavored, but there's still a little bit more anime design involved. Even though this guy looked great, and I do enjoy G Creations, it seems as though Fuma is very rare. I can't find many videos or photos of him, and it seems like there's even less people selling him. The first masterpiece version of six-shot was the DX9 Hanzo, and Hanzo is very impressive for what it is. He has very limited articulation for a third-party figure, and from what I understand, he has very fragile knees. Of course, if you're going for a masterpiece six-shot nowadays, you're going for the Fans Toys Hydra. And what do you want me to say here? Of course, he's perfect. The transformation's a nightmare, but the paint and the sculpting are incredible, and the modes all look exactly as they did in the anime, and the colors are striking. This is the most impressive six-shot. It's not my cup of tea. I'll always point out that Fans Toys don't make playable toys, they make displayable toys. This guy cannot stand up to heavy usage in terms of transformations, but it's not made for that. It's made for the people who are willing to spend hundreds, nearly $1,000 on the perfect six-shot. And for that, he's doing the best he can. But let's say you want a six-shot at the Legends scale. Well, Iron Factory put out Shadow Tengu, and I love this guy. He's very similar to the Mastermind Creations six-shot in terms of the overall design, but his colors are a lot more anime, and in either case, he is a spectacular toy. The one that's got me salivating, though, is Magic Square. They're doing a 2-pack with six-shot and Ultra Magnus, and we've only seen the CAD photos so far, but I cannot wait. That looks like a perfect six-shot, and I'm a massive fan of Magic Square, so I'm excited to see how this turns out. That was a lot of fun, but why don't we bring it back to official waters in 2005, where we would get the most distinct version of six-shot ever, that being the Energon six-shot. This six-shot was the twin brother of Shock Blast, and after Shock Blast was killed by Megatron, six-shot showed up to attempt to avenge his brother's death, only to also be killed by Megatron. He was more or less there because they had killed off Shock Blast and wanted to have the character come back, so they made a complete copy of the CAD model, and then we got the toy that was a complete redeco. What's interesting is that Hasbro and Takara attempted to fix a major issue with six-shot. You see, Shock Blast was known to shatter at his waist. Six-shot doesn't do that, but instead, he becomes very wobbly. He has a hard time staying solid in his core, which, I mean, I guess that's better than breaking, but it's still a very strange issue. 7 years later, in 2012, we would get our reissue of G1 six-shot, and this would become the style of six-shot we would have for the rest of time. It took 30 years for six-shot to get a second mold. Up until this point, it had just been reissues of the G1 or repaints of Shockwave. But in Titan's Return, we finally got a brand new six-shot, and I remember people losing their minds at this guy being revealed. We had been salivating, begging for a six-shot, just like we had been begging for all the triple changers like Astro Train and Blitzwing, and now we're going to get an entire line that will give us all the multi-changers again? Unfortunately, six-shot had issues. The paint was very lacking, the stickers very flaky, but the worst part is that six-shot had horribly loose joints, specifically the hips and the knees. This was a six-shot that would fall over on himself constantly. Thankfully, in 2017, Takara Tomy released the Legends six-shot. This was the Titan's Return guy with better paint and better knees. He is absolute perfection, one of the best versions of six-shot we have ever gotten. Unfortunately, he is also exceedingly rare. It seems as though a lot of people sold off the Titans Return six-shot to get this guy, which means that now both of them are very hard to come by. Six-shot's final toy, at least currently, came out in 2018, and it's only fitting that his final toy is as Greatshot. This was a Legends-only release, an exclusive to the Takara Tomy Mall, and he's absolutely brilliant. He has all the fixes of the Legends six-shot, but now he's once again rocking the Greatshot colors. I love this. His final form in fiction is also his final toy. It's almost like the legacy of six-shot, even if it's misremembered, will always eventually culminate in him going good and staying that way. And that's it. Six-shot is a hard character to describe, because quite frankly, most people don't care about his character. They like his gimmick. Let's face it, 6 forms. That's special, that's unique. There's very few other Transformers that have that many alternate modes. It's basically him, Quick Switch, and then Gigatron. But Six-shot's the most special of them all. Kind of like how everyone remembers Devastator as the first combiner, or Blitzwing and Astro Train were the first triple changers. Six-shot was the first Transformer to go beyond 3, to have so many distinct modes. And I think it says a lot that when Six-shot comes up, a lot of people still go back to that original G1 toy. For all the issues it had, it was still great, incredibly fun, very clever in its engineering. I think that's the real thing that holds Six-shot back. Six-shot needs all the modes. If it's not all the modes, then it's not really Six-shot. But it's also very hard to design something like that. I want you to imagine how difficult it is to design a Transformer of any type. And now I want you to imagine having to make a fully functioning robot with all the proportions of Six-shot, and then have that thing turn into multiple vehicles, including at least one animal that has to be as well articulated as the robot was. Six-shot is an undertaking, and I think that's a big reason as to why we don't see more of him. But guys, I'll ask you, which was your favorite Six-shot, and is there a Six-shot you're trying to track down right now? Of course, we have a lot of characters to go over, but we're going to hit each and every one of them eventually, you have my word. Alongside that, if you could, support me on Patreon. $1 will give you access to my Discord server, $5 lets you download videos early, or download any video I've already released, and $10 will make you a producer and allow you to make direct video requests from me. Speaking of which, this was, of course, a direct request from Silvershot. Thank you so much for that request, by the way. And seeing as how I need just a little bit of a break to prepare for some other videos this month, next week, we're going to be going over Six-shot's son, Quick Switch. Until then, guys, just stay safe, and we'll see what we get up to next time.